I feel like I'm about to die. I woke up that morning of the 7th day of September. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like I'm about to die. She said, let's go. She cracked those knuckles. She was on a flight that night. I remember laying down and I was visited by these four figures. They escorted me to the spirit realm, to whatever this realm was. It felt like an ocean of energy. It felt like I was surrounded by love. But I just remember, I said, you know what? If I die now, my mom will kill me. So
Yeah.
I said, let me stay earthside and fight to be here. And that's the same love that I felt when I went to the spirit realm, was the exact same love that my mother displayed by being there for me. To be honest, I feel like I really did die. And whatever timeline this is a whole new timeline.
Hello, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. I'm so excited because we have a guest joining us this week, Elton. I found him from a video he did in the airport talking about portals, and like 5 people have sent it to me since because they're like, girl, I feel like this is so your type of guy. Like, you need to connect with him. And I'm like, I already did. I already found him. I already saw the video, and I've been consuming all of your content ever since. And I just reached out because I was like, I feel like we need to do a podcast. Like, this is going to be such a great conversation. I can't wait. And so if you maybe want to, I used to ask, like, what do you do? And now I'm like, I don't care. Just maybe like a little bit about who you are and maybe like how you jumped back on Instagram. Because you said you've only been posting for a month. I know you had a near-death experience like 5 years ago. Um, and now I'm assuming, like, was that your wake-up call that like sent you right into spirituality, or were you always kind of connected? Like, give us a little bit of a synopsis of like you 5 years ago, almost dying, to now showing up on Instagram, all the good stuff.
Well, first of all, thank you, Carly. And I didn't realize you found me from the portal video. Like
Yeah.
most people probably from the different videos. So to your listeners, I was in the airport and everybody thinks I'm high in this video, but I literally was like, airplanes are portals to another dimension. And the video went viral and I was so shocked that literally people thought me. But so let's go back. I mean, the story is crazy. What I'll do is I'll give you like a quick and dirty, and then
Mhm.
anything you want me to expand on, we could do that.
Perfect.
All right, cool. So basically, hey guys, my name is Elton Anderson Jr. I go by Elton L10, and it's kind of like my alter ego. But no, so born and raised from Detroit, have never been a spiritual girly at all. Like never was into, I didn't even know my zodiac sign for real till I was like in my 30s. So I never was into it. And I remember specifically, you remember like around like 2012 or 2013 or something, when everybody used to be like into The Secret and then vision
Mhm.
boards and like all that stuff. I
Yeah.
used to think people were actually absolutely insane. I said, "What are y'all vision board? Like, what is this?"
Yeah.
So never been tapped in at all. And so as far as career, I went to college at FAMU in Florida. And when I graduated, I started working for a pharmaceutical sales company. So I did the pharmaceutical sales. I wore the suits. I went into the offices. And after a few years, I just got completely burned out. I said, "This is not my future." And this was 2008. And I ended up winning a camera at my job.
What does that mean?
And
Like a camera? Like a
yeah,
regular
like
camera?
I won like a photography camera.
Okay.
So I've been a photographer for like 18 years. So this is a story.
Okay.
So it was actually 2007. So I won a camera at my job and I started falling in love with photography. So a year later, I quit my job. I got a passport. I got a skateboard and I had my camera and I created a whole new life. And so you
I
got to
love
think about it. This is like 2008. So this is before social media. There was no social media. There was no like, you could click on Instagram now and see a
Yeah.
billion people like that. But back then, everybody thought I was insane. but I started to follow this voice that was, like, deep within, and it was like, "Elton, this is the route you should go." And that voice was what I say is my, like, closest connection to my soul at the time.
Yeah.
So, I hopped right into photography, went full force. I became a wedding photographer. That took me around the world within, like, 3 years, and then I left that and I moved to LA in 2012, and that same voice said, "Move to LA, get into, like, celebrity and
Mm,
commercial photography." So I moved to LA with, like, $500, was staying on a buddy's, love seat, and within a few years, I completely created this amazing life. So, I would say my generational run was, like, 2016 to 2019. I have been to, like, 90 countries. I
mm.
started getting asked to be in front of the camera. So I was a commercial actor. I hosted a travel show, and I became like a influencer, photographer, host hybrid.
I
So
love that.
life was amazing. Like I was making ton of money, no cares in the world. I had my dream apartment, this loft, this huge loft down in downtown LA. I had my dream car, dream friendships, like everything was like perfect. So this is the setup for the big drop. So life was perfect 2019 and we were filming the last 2 episodes of the travel show. We had one in July in New Orleans and then the very last one was scheduled to be in Ghana. So
What
the
was this travel
show
show?
huh?
What was it called? If people
I was
wanna
just
go
about
look
to
it up
say
now.
that the
Yeah.
show was called, Lens of Culture. So it was a show dedicated to the African American culture. So we went
Okay.
around different parts of the world, to different cities in America. So we would go to, like, we did episodes in Harlem, we did episodes in Brooklyn, New Orleans, Dominican Republic, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
where where the people are.
Yeah,
And,
love.
I had this amazing co-host, her name is Ty, and life was good. So the whole experience was amazing. And I had got this voice. The voice came back in July, and it said, "Elton, leave America and travel around the world for a year." So my plan after the shoot was literally to film the episodes in Ghana, and then for 1 year my plan was to travel around the world and live in a different country every month for 12 months. So
Oh.
yeah, so I was gonna like document it on my YouTube channel, become like the black Anthony Bourdain, just travel this world as a
Yeah.
as a solo act. And so I had everything planned. We went to New Orleans. I mean, we went to Ghana. By this time, I had gave away everything. I gave away my apartment, my car, all of my clothes. I said, "I'm gonna be like this big minimalist." Like, literally, that was the plan. So we
What
go and
year is
film.
this?
This is 2019. This is August of
Okay.
2019.
Crazy. Okay.
This is right before this is leading into the near-death experience. So,
Yeah.
uh, basically, we filmed the whole episode in Ghana. It was 2 weeks, amazing experience. Um, I come back from Ghana, say my farewells to my friends and everybody. And the first country I go to is Brazil. So this is my first month of a country. I was going to stay in South America, visit all these other places. And the one thing that I didn't do though was before I went to Ghana, I did not take my malaria pills. Now, I have been to over 20 countries in Africa, and I myself am African. I'm Liberian. And so I'm thinking I had this ego. I'm like, you know what? Every time I take malaria pills, I get sick. I was like, I got African blood. I'm strong.
I
I
didn't
can
take any pills when I went to Africa. I was just like, "I'll be fine." Was I?
exactly.
I'm like, "I don't know."
Exactly. But it depends on the part you go to. Like if you go to
Okay.
Morocco or Egypt or even South Africa, you're fine. But predominantly in West Africa,
Okay.
is where malaria is really prevalent. And so I didn't take my pills, I was vibing, and what I didn't realize is that I got bit. And for everybody that doesn't know, malaria is actually a parasite. So, and it's a parasite carried by the mosquitoes. So when a mosquito bites you and injects you with the parasite, this parasite latches on to all of your red blood cells. And
Mm.
as you can imagine, your red blood cells are everywhere in your body. So I couldn't see, I couldn't walk, I had liver
Wow.
function issues. Uh, my whole body was shutting down. But Carly, I had no idea what was going on with me. So I'm in Brazil, I'm climbing mountains, I am hang gliding, like I'm skateboarding, like I'm living my life. And I'm
Yeah.
7 days into this trip. And literally, I feel like I am about to die.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Any questions you wanna go
Okay,
deeper?
I just find it crazy because I know you did a video and you said you called your mom, right?
Uh-huh.
And then she came immediately because she was like, "Something has to be wrong?"
Yeah, so okay, so that's perfect lead in. So
Yeah,
basically I was 7 days in, and when it was happening, it was very specific because it didn't feel like, usually I'm like, "Oh, I got a stomach flu or I got a bug," or it didn't feel like it didn't feel like a sickness. The
yeah,
actual words that it felt like, I said, "I feel like I'm about to die." Like, it was
yeah,
specifically that. And the thing about malaria is that malaria has a 70% mortality rate.
right.
So only 1 in 3 people that get malaria actually live. So it's a very serious situation. And basically I woke up that morning of the 7th day of September. This is still 2019. And I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like I'm about to die." And my mother is so super protective. She's a Leo. She's very much like mother lion kind of vibe. And I'm so independent. I never really like needed her for a
Yeah,
lot. But Carly, this was her time to shine. She literally
yeah.
said, "Oh, you're
She's
sick?"
like, "Say less, I am on a plane."
She said, "Let's go." She cracked those knuckles. So literally, like, I would say I called her maybe at like 10 or 11 a.m. She was on a flight that night. And then the next morning, she was in Rio de
Brazil.
Janeiro.
Mhm.
But this is where the near-death experience happened.
Okay. Also, I just need to say this is crazy the timeline that, like, 2020 is approaching, and
Mm.
obviously we know, like, travel the world, but I really feel like when how you started on portals, it's like 2020 was a time for shit to shake, for people who needed to go through whatever their experience was, whether it was health, relationships, jobs, whatever it was, to shift you, to get you to activate into what this is. Because it's like 2020 was a portal for me, but through relationship. Yours was near death, which is a little harsher, but keep going.
Oh, no, we're gonna get there, though, because I ended
Yeah.
up spending the entire pandemic in Bali, but we'll get there.
Okay. Love. Mhm.
But, yeah, relationships, oh, but I wanna touch on that. We'll touch on relationships. Don't let me forget this part
Yeah.
because that was
I'll write
a
it
very
down. We'll go on
part of
that.
the story. So the near-death experience basically was by the time I called my mother, I literally felt like I was gonna die, and all I knew is that she was on her way. And so I stayed in my Airbnb. I was completely alone. I didn't know anybody, don't speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
So I couldn't eat, I wasn't hungry. And so I'm laying on the bed and I don't know what time it was. I don't have any there was no time in this experience. It was just
Yeah, yeah.
all like a feeling.
Yeah.
And literally I remember laying down and I was visited by these 4 figures, and the
Mhm.
4 figures felt very, very feminine in nature, and they were, like, super tall, like, let's say, like, 9 or 10 feet. I don't know if they were floating. All I remember is that they didn't communicate with words. It was more like energy, telekinesis. It was more like I knew what they were
Present. Yeah.
communicating, but they didn't say anything. And they escorted me to the spirit realm, to whatever this realm was. And like I said on Instagram, I mean, and on Instagram and TikTok, that I didn't see any pearly gates. I didn't see like any dead family members or loved ones. But what I did feel was this it felt like an ocean of energy. It felt like I was surrounded by love. It was like the warmth of love and the the energy of just peace. So, like,
Right.
as I'm sitting here talking to you now, I am not afraid of death at all. Like, I would
It's so
I would
peaceful. Have you done
it was
plant medicine ceremonies?
of course.
And, like, when you transit into, like, the spirit realm, does it kind of feel like that, or was it different?
It feels like that. It was like I have I have done so many freaking shrooms in my life. I've done EMT, keep trying to get back to that realm. Like, I was
Okay.
doing shrooms, like, and when I lived in Bali, I was doing shrooms, like, every freaking day, trying to get
Right.
back to that realm. But,
Interesting.
yeah, so but that energy, I just remember it being so peaceful, and I was telling, another friend the story, and the thing that made me realize, they were like, "So were you fully in there, or was this like the waiting room?" And I was like, "It felt like the waiting room. It felt like the lobby." I might have been in the lobby of the
Okay.
hotel to
Yeah.
the actual spirit realm, because I remember them asking me, did I wanna stay? They gave me a choice. They said, "Do you wanna stay here or do you wanna leave?" And I was like I was, because by this time, my life had been great. Like,
Yeah.
my life was amazing. Like, I didn't want for anything. I had lived, but I just remember I said, "You know what? If I die now, my mom will kill me." So
Yeah.
I said, "Let me let me stay earthside and, uh, fight to be here." And I don't know if the experience was like 3 hours or 30 minutes. I can't really remember,
Yeah. Because
but
time just doesn't really exist. It's like yeah.
yeah, it was like, yeah, I couldn't even put my finger on it, but I just remember feeling at peace, and I remember my body, like, fighting its own self, because those parasites were really, really doing their thing on me, and so I survived the night, of course, and my mother made it and took me to the hospital, and luckily for us, like, the best infectious disease hospital was really close to where I was staying, my Airbnb. And so got to the hospital, and yeah, I was hooked up to all the machines, like all the tubes and everything for 7 days. And I remember on the first night, I was um I was in and out of that same kind of realm. I would go to the spirit realm, I would come back, like it was still with me. And I just remember I woke up on, like, the first night, and I remember there were 2 chairs because my mom didn't have a bed, so there was only 2 chairs for her, and I remember I was like, "Wow, that is what love truly is." Like, my mother sitting there sleeping for 7 days on 2 chairs, and at this time, I had so much quote, unquote, "love" from all of the people that watch my shows or follow me on Instagram. You know how you get all that fake love, and it's like,
Sending love and prayers.
yeah, but it's like,
It's empty.
y'all don't really love me. This
Yeah.
is what love truly is, and that's the same love that I felt when I went to the spirit realm, was the exact same love that my mother displayed by being there for me. So, that was a really strong lesson for me in this existence, and to be honest, I feel like I really did die, and whatever timeline this is a whole new timeline, because that's when the pandemic happened. That's when I lived in Bali. That's when I went through the dark night of the soul. And that's why I went through all these things that we're going to get into. But I wanted to stop there to let you do what you want to do.
Okay, the first thing I have to say is I'm thinking about because I was at my first mushroom ceremony ever in Costa Rica,
Okay.
and like a movie, you know how there's a character that nobody knows, they're just there. You're like, "Wait, what? Like, we're all a group, like, how did you get here? Like, this is so random. How were you inserted here and for what purpose?" And through the days, a couple of us ended up getting close to this guy. The last day, it's leading up to basically, this is prefacing to the fact that he kept saying these little hints, and I'm sharing this because he was like, "You know my last name's Waters?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." That's, like, day 1. Then days go by, and he's like, "I've never been in the water. I've traveled the whole world. I've never been in the water because 'cause I'm afraid of it." We go through mushroom ceremony 1. He gets confidence. He walks in the water. The last day, so we end another mushroom ceremony. This is mushroom ceremony 2. First thing in the morning, he's outside. The night before, he says to one of the girls he got close with, "If I was to ever to die or drown, I'd want you to be there." We're like, random thing to say. Next morning, he's out in the water and he's swimming. And I look out and I'm like, "Are they messing with me? Like, what are those guys doing? They're like saying help." And I'm like, "Are they playing with us?" Because it's like one of the guys that plays games. And I go, "What the hell?" So I run out. I can hear them. They're screaming now. So I'm like, "Oh my God, he's drowning. Like somebody's drowning." And literally, when you said, like, they gave you a choice, we pulled him out of the water. He was, like, fully I thought he was gonna come back. He's such a little shit, I almost grabbed his phone to film him because I was like, "He's gonna wanna post this on Instagram to say, like, 'Oh, I almost died and I chose to live.'" Um, Anyways, I swear to God, he was laying there, they were doing CPR and they were trying to help him, and I felt his eyes open, and it was like he was given the choice. I can't explain it any other way. It's like we were watching him. He came back to life, but it was like, "You get to choose. What do you wanna do? Do you want to, like, choose to stay on Earth, or do you wanna come with us?" And I feel like in that moment, because he had said, like, "No one's ever taken care of me. I've always taken care of everybody." He had told me this throughout the week. He was like, "I've lived such a good life. I've taken care of everyone, but, like, now it's time for someone else to take care of me and for me to take care of me." And he said, "When I leave this trip, I'm gonna go travel the whole world and go in the water to all the places I never went in order to connect with my ancestors." This is all the night before. And then
Wow.
the next morning, it's like he was able to choose to die. And I think I'm sharing that because the fear of death, it's like, no, no, no. If you really tune in, it's like, no, we really do as souls get to choose. And
Yep.
in that moment, he had chose that, like, this actually feels like the most peace I've ever felt, connecting to the doing the mushrooms, connecting to that, connecting to the spirit world, having a near death experience. He was like, "This is peace, and I don't feel peace here, and so I'm gonna go choose to live out this next part of my journey over here." And same thing for you. You were able to be like, "My mom's gonna kill me, so I'm gonna come back." Where, like, it was so crazy when we called his kids, they even had peace about it. It was the craziest
Mhm.
experience of my life. They were just like, "Thank you so much for being there for him." Like, it was I can't explain it other than it was so meant to be. And
Mhm.
witnessing a death like that, yes, we were sad, but it was so peaceful. It was like, this is actually beautiful. This was the end of his life, he was choosing it, and it was time. And
So he's dead right now.
he's dead. He died in front of us. Day 2 after the mushroom ceremony. He wasn't on mushrooms, but it was like he chose with confidence, "I'm gonna go swim," but the Costa Rica waters pulled him out. He didn't actually know how to swim, and yeah, he just had too much water. Waters
Oh,
had
wow.
too much water. Crazy.
Wow. So he
But it was so beautiful. Like, I can't explain it. Like, the whole experience was just
it was
yeah.
almost like he gave you that gift of his death or life. That's weird.
No, it was crazy. And, like, getting to experience, for example, like, how we deal with death in the Western world versus in Costa Rica, we did a beautiful ceremony. We had a cacao ceremony. We, left a space for him, and when we poured his cacao, listen to this part, this moth landed in front of me because me and him got really close on that trip. So this moth lands in front of me, and I'm, like, staring at it, and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "If this is you and you're just showing us, like, you're already transitioned, like, give me a sign."
Uh-huh.
This moth flies to his empty seat, and when we go drink the cacao, it lands on the cacao bowl and takes a fucking sip. Like, it goes in the cacao and then gets out, and I was like,
That's
You
him.
can't make this shit up. I was like, "Thank you so much for showing us that, like, you were fine," and, uh, like, it just showed, like, we're everything. It is
Wait,
oneness. We are everything. Like, it was just
so I'm still tripping because your
yeah.
first mushroom ceremony, a man died in your arms
Not
and
my
then
arms,
came
but yeah.
but died in front of you and then came
Mhm.
back as a
A moth.
moth for the cacao ceremony.
Yeah.
Got
Real
it.
life.
Got it.
So I'm like, this is my first experience with plant medicine. First experienced in any of this type of, like a ceremony space for a week kinda thing,
Uh-huh,
and I don't know, I can't explain it, and, like, witnessing how we gave an offering for him,
uh-huh.
to, like, giving
It's
him an offering, being able to go out to the water and honor him through, like, rose petals and through song and through mourning and grieving, but in a just a communal way that I was like, "We don't do that here." Our funerals are so sad, and I don't know, it was just I can't explain it any other way than, like, it was the first time I experienced death that felt connect connecting, if that makes sense. Like, and peace, where every
Mhm.
other death, it felt like I don't know. I don't know.
No, I do know. I know exactly what you mean. I think our relationship with life and death is really rooted in a lot of times in religion.
Mhm.
And for me, it was almost like I got erased. You know, like when you take your phone and like you do like a hard factory reset.
Yes.
I literally feel like I was factory reset. And my relationship with religion, my relationship with death, my relationship with occult knowledge, all these things completely changed. And after I got back from out of the hospital, of course I survived, but after I got out of the hospital, I came back to the States for about a month. I lost like 20 something pounds. I was so
Yeah.
weak all day long. And I remember pouring into all of this spiritual stuff. So I was reading books from Dolores Cannon, Neville
Mhm.
Goddard, Abraham Hicks, all the different spiritual people, Eckhart Tolle. Because the first book I read was Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I could clearly remember, I was like, this isn't deep enough. I need to go deeper. Like,
Yeah.
I need to go, my bad. I need to go deeper uh, into this concept of life and death in the spiritual realm. And I haven't talked about my near death experience or any of the spiritual stuff in years because of the relationships. So the relationships that ended were some really close friends that were, for lack of a better term, they just treated me like shit during the whole process. I think they had some
Interesting.
jealousy because of all the good things that were happening in my life, and then it turned into just complete abandonment. So, it didn't feel just like one death
Mm.
when I had the near death experience. It felt like the death of those friendships was like, I can't even explain. I'm still trying to find, like, the words for it.
Mhm.
And but it was the impetus for me to get back out into the world. So a month, I stayed about 2 months after I healed, gained a little bit of weight back, and, got completely free from the malaria because I still had to do checkups here and there. Um, I was back on the road in November. So November,
Wow.
I went back to Brazil for a month, and then December, I went back to Ghana
Ooh,
and lived
okay.
there for a little bit, yeah, and of course, I took my malaria pills this
Yeah, I was
time.
gonna say, do you
Of
take
course.
malaria pills this time?
But, but the interesting thing is that was when the journey really got, I would say, really interesting because now I have this new lease on life. Now I am a completely
Hold on one sec. Where's your ancestry from? Is that why you felt pulled back to Ghana? Or just
uh, no, well, no. Well, that time from 2019 going to 2020 was, that was the year of the return for Ghana.
okay,
But I'm Liberian, so Liberia is
okay,
about 2 countries over from Ghana,
yeah.
but we're all on the west side. So,
Yeah.
it's like Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria,
Yes.
Sierra Leone, all that. And but I've always been drawn to Africa, of course.
Mhm.
And so I went to Ghana again for December. Then I I said I'm still gonna do this thing, so I traveled around Southeast Asia in January. I went to Cambodia, Laos, which I love.
Mhm.
I think everybody should go to Laos, Myanmar. Then in February, I went back to Africa. So I went to Rwanda, I went to Namibia, Zambia, South Africa. And what I was doing is I wanted to really just go to these places alone because I was looking for myself in these different places. Like everywhere I went, I wanted to find a different piece of myself because at the time I thought that the journey was outside of me.
Right.
And and what I will say is that everywhere I went, I was met with some of the most amazing acts of kindness from meeting people that were like famous and plugged in Rwanda to meeting solo travelers in Laos and Myanmar that we still are like Instagram friends to this day. And you know how like when you travel, you especially if you're a solo traveler for the people that are listening, like you always find like your best friends in all these different places and you
Mhm.
kind of just keep connected for the rest of your life. And so that was happening. And then March comes and I decide to go to India in March. So this is March of
Pandemic.
2020. So this is
Mhm.
exactly when the pandemic was starting. And I said, I want to go to India. I want to do like the Taj Mahal. I want to do like all these
Yeah.
different places. And I love Indian food. How do you feel about Indian food?
Oh, I just ate butter chicken, paneer last night. It's like my I swear I'm like I have bracelets, like, I'm, like, so connected to all Indian
Oh,
culture. Yeah.
so you get it. Okay, so you
Yeah, yeah.
get it. So
Curry is a
um
love language, and it's mine. I'm like, "Oh, best."
yes. What is your take on travel and spirituality and all of that?
Yeah, okay, so before you go into India and COVID, I think this is cool to talk about because for me first of all, have you read the book Celestine Prophecy?
Very familiar, but I have never read it.
Okay, so listen to it because you'll love this, but like how you said, you find all your best friends, you connect to the right people, you can travel alone. I think we're so again, Western world thinking that we need to be dependent on people. It's like you gotta go with a group or you have to go because even for me, it was like, why would I ever travel alone? You only go with a partner or with
Mhm.
a family. I didn't even the concept didn't even enter my mind till probably last year that it was like, you can go alone. Like you do other things alone. Why couldn't you travel alone?
Mhm.
And understanding the world is not scary. Like, I think we're so fed with fear that, like, you're gonna go to India, for example, "Oh my gosh, India," or you're gonna go to Africa, "Be careful, you're a tourist." And I'm like, the more I traveled, the more I realized I feel so safe. People are so kind
Yep.
everywhere I have been, even if I'm not in a resort. And of course, there's areas like for sure where you'd wanna be mindful and careful, but same thing here, like, you don't wanna walk down random streets at night, like, same thing in different countries, and so, for me, I've just found the more I travel, the more it opens me up to, like, how vast and expansive life actually is,
Yeah.
and at the same time, the more I travel, the more I realize we're all the same. So it's
For
like
sure.
I go to these different places, it's like you're halfway across the country, like, even being in Bali, I was like, for me personally, didn't feel any type of spiritual connection at all. I was actually like, something feels really off." I kept asking questions. I was like, "Why are they not talking about, like, who was here before?" Like, all the structures that exist kind of, but are how they've built on top of them is so disgusting and, like, ugly, and I'm what about the beauty that used to be here? Like, why aren't we talking about that? All of these, like, ancient structures and the way that they had fencing and I don't know, I was just like it felt more like I had way more questions. I probably needed to stay longer,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just find it grows you into a different person. Like, I don't think and I used to think like, "Okay, whatever." You get, like a view of the world and cool, you come back with more perspective. I used to be kind of like a jerk about travel, but it's like it's because I didn't understand the value. It was like, "Okay, you see the world and what?" And now I'm like, "Oh," because it opens you up to so many new ways of being, and I think it creates oneness. Like, I was in Sri Lanka, that was my first, like, solo travel,
Uh-huh.
and being in a village with this woman and, like, cooking with her and doing these things, and I was like, "I just love you." Like, we were just hugging like she was my mom, and I'm like, "I've never met this woman in my life." And that feeling of love that you don't need to cultivate long-term knowing and relationship to feel that feeling of, like, I love you and I embrace you and, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
yeah. I know I know exactly what you mean. I think travel is
Like
a
this
free
little guy, Sri
look at
Lanka,
that, I love that.
crystal. Anyway, yeah.
I think travel is a frequency,
Yes.
and I think the frequency is trust, because when you travel,
Ooh,
specifically, you travel alone, you're telling the universe that you trust it. You're showing the universe that you love yourself to be alone, to be in a different country. You show the universe that you're putting your trust in the universe. And I like to say that the universe favorite frequency is love and
interest.
trust,
Mm,
because
I love that.
trust comes from surrender. And
Yes,
the more that we surrender, we become aligned with who we truly are. Because when we're here in America, in the States, in in our hometowns, we're carrying with us this aura, this essence of who we think we are or who we
right.
think we need to be. But when you're in another country, you're not thinking. There's no mind. You're in your body. You're embodied. You're fully embodied. You're fully surrendered. And with that energy, that's when I like to say that's when you go from authenticity to aura.
Mm,
Because your aura enters a room well before you're in there. Your authenticity sometimes has to be performed. I always say, like, I feel like my authenticity is for my close friends and my family, because we don't know who Beyonce authentically is. We
yeah,
don't know who Lady Gaga authentically is,
right.
but we get their aura. We get the aura that they give out to the world. So that's what I say about the solo travel and why it's so important. So if you're
Mm,
listening to this, if you got a chance to do even a staycation in a
right.
different state, do it, because it's going to change your life. And I think that's the perfect segue into India.
Okay. Wait, I
It's
think that was a sign for me too, because I keep hearing Peru, 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 like I meant to book a trip. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I think I'm being called to book it alone with, like, no plans other
Yep.
than, like, where I wanna go. But even my
Yep.
recent trip to Florida, I was like, "Let's not book a hotel till we get there." Like, we'll get led to where we're meant to go. Um, and, like, that what you just said, that feeling of trust, because the more I dabble with this, I'm like, "No, I trust myself so much that I'm like, it will guide me exactly where I'm meant to go. It will show me exactly the hotel, the exact spot. I'll get
Mhm.
connected with the right people." Um yeah, and so I'm like, I think that was for me too to just be like, "Okay, I just need to find the date and book it." But anyways, continue, India.
No, but no, that's I think that's so important, because and I think this story more than any story in my life has proven this to me. So, January, I was in Southeast Asia. This is all 2020. January I was in Southeast Asia. I did a little pit stop in Bali. February, I was in different parts of Africa, Rwanda. Every country I went to, people were just so many random acts of kindness. And then we get to March. I said, and March is my birthday. My birthday is March 5th in a few weeks. So I said, I want to go to India. When I was in Bali in January, this young lady, she said, Elton, if you ever go to India, you need to go to this part of India called Goa. Have you ever heard of Goa,
Mhm.
India?
Yeah,
Oh, you heard of Goa? Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So, for people that don't know, Goa is in the southwest side of India. It's like this lazy beach town. It was the part that was, colonized by the Portuguese, so it has that Portuguese vibe, but then in the '60s and '70s, there was a huge hippie influence into this place. So when you
Hmm,
go to Goa, it feels like a Portuguese, Indian, hippie landscape. It's I can't explain it, you just have to go. It's
okay, I'm
beautiful
writing it down.
beaches, great vibes, and it's GOA.
Okay.
And I remember this girl told me to go there, and I was like, "You know what? That should be where I should go for my birthday." Like, why would I go there for my birthday? But because this one chick told me to go there, but why
Yeah,
not? So
'cause like, when you learn to trust, like, it doesn't matter where the insight comes from, you're like, "That was for me, I'm gonna do that."
I'm gonna do it exactly.
Mhm.
So I get to go like maybe March 3rd, like a couple days before my birthday, and I get there and I'm like, I have totally been here before. Like this is my soul has been here before. And that's when I realized that I was reincarnated from this white girl named Elizabeth, and she's from, like, Rochester, New York. She had, like, shoulder length brown hair, like, dark like, almost like brunette she's a brunette, and I felt her spirit, and she was down with the hippie tribe. But, like, I always
Interesting.
I always say I'm reincarnated from a white woman, 'cause,
Yeah,
like and
I
she was
love it.
totally in and she was totally into black guys, and so am I since I'm gay, so so I get
I
to this
love it.
place I get
You're
to this
like, "That
place,
never left me, it came with me into this lifetime too." You're like, "It
I'm
was
like,
too good last time, like, I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that."
"Elizabeth, I see you, girl." And,
Yeah.
so I'm in this place, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, I love it here." Like, I could feel the energy all through the place, and, I remember it was the morning of my birthday, so I wake up, and I come out my bungalow, and the ocean's right there, and I just remember this is my first birthday I ever spent alone. I've never spent
Mm.
a solo birthday. So I'm all by myself. I am in tears, a little bit of sadness, but mainly just, okay, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't know if I want to be a photographer anymore. I don't know how am I going to make
This is
money.
crazy though, like March 5th, because March 7th, what, 12th? When is COVID announced? Like, we're coming up to it.
We're getting there. It
This is
was
crazy timeline.
it was
I
March
love this.
14th.
Okay.
So, oh yeah, we're getting there.
This
Um,
is so fun for me. I'm in for it. So keep going.
So, I wake up the morning like I said, I'm just on the beach in tears, like, to the
Sure.
point of dehydration, and I'm trying to make videos and talk, and I'm just like, I just full Pisces mode, full sensitive
Yeah.
Pisces mode. And fun fact, I'm a triple water, I'm a Pisces sun, Cancer moon, Scorpio rising, so I'm all
Mm,
freaking water
water.
in my chart. And so I cried so much I was literally dehydrated. So after that, it was maybe like 8 AM or something like that. So I decided to go to these smoothie shops. They have these row of like restaurants and smoothie shops right off the beach. And so I go into the first one I see, and it's like packed. It's like completely packed. Everybody's in there. And there was one seat left. So I go up to the counter, I order my smoothie, and I see a seat, it's a guy and 2 girls, and I say, "Hey, is it cool if I sit here?" And they were like, "Of course." And I hear the guy has it
Also,
in.
isn't it crazy you can travel around the world and speak English? And, like, you're
Yeah,
usually fine.
yeah. You can
I
pretty much make it anywhere.
I feel like an arrogant asshole when I just speak English and then, like but then everyone typically responds, and I'm like, "Wow, we really can though, how cool." Get around the whole world and have, like, a communal language we can all kinda speak, which is kinda cool. So, anyways, keep
Which
going.
is good. No, I love it,
Yeah.
I love it. So, I sit next to the guy and the 2 girls, and so, when I sit down, I'm like, "Oh, where you from?" And he's a young dude, he's like little white kid, brown hair. He's 27 or something, and he was from New York. He had been working on Wall Street and had got burned out from doing all
Yeah.
the finance stuff. And so he told me, he was like, "Yeah, I just quit my job and I started traveling in September." And he said he had been to all these countries. I was like, "I did the same thing." And he said he did a
Yeah.
Vipassana, like that 10-day meditation. He was just telling me
Yeah.
his whole story. And I was like, "Wow, this is so crazy. Like we are so similar." And then the 2 girls that he was with, he had just met them at his hostel, so they were all, like, up there,
Okay.
and so when he was telling me his story, and then the 2 girls were like, "But no, you have to tell him what today is, tell him what's happening today," and he was like, "It's my birthday." I said, "What?" He was like I said, "Today, like, March 5th is your birthday?" He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's my birthday." I said, "Motherfucker, it's my birthday too." So when I tell you I could not believe it, like, this was the only chair in the whole restaurant, and
So
I know I have met other people on my birthday, I have good friends that got the same birthday, but on my birthday in Goa, in the only seat left, when I tell you it was the best birthday gift, I had just got done crying about being alone, and this was the best birthday gift I could have ever asked for. So me and Connor literally traveled around, uh, around India for 3 days. Like, we were like, "We gotta go on an adventure." So me and him went to
yeah.
3 different parts of India, like, got hotel like, booked rooms every day, like, kept traveling together. We went and found this, place called Hampi. If you ever go to Hampi, it's amazing. Um it was, Hampi was so cool because we literally, like, found these seeds that when you put them in water and activate them, they give you acid they give you, like, LSD hallucinations. So
Mhm.
me and Connor are in the freaking, waterfall at
Yeah.
Hampi, tripping our balls off of this freaking, Indian
The
sea.
seeds. Yeah. Well,
And we're just like, "This is what life is." One of the craziest moments of my life was, like, turned into one of the biggest gifts of my life. And so,
mhm.
yeah, me and Connor still stay in contact from time to time, like, maybe, like, once a year, like, Imma text him on his birthday, our birthday,
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, so that was just to me, there's never been a moment that showed me that this world, that this universe, that this life is truly a simulation. Like the universe, the more that you trust the universe, the more that it will bring you exactly what I need. And there's been nothing I needed more than that moment with Connor. It made me feel alive. It just felt
I feel like and it just shows you, like, you're never actually alone. I think
Nope.
so often we feel because we're physically alone, we're like, "We're alone, we don't have anyone." It's like, no, first of all, you're supported by all whatever you believe, God, angels, spirit guides, everything, they're always there for you. And then in addition to that, if you just trust, like, how you lost all those friendships and you lost those people, like, you had to, because if you're still connected to all of those people who are no longer aligned with where you're going, you can't go on this trajectory and this path to meet the people and go to the places you need to for your soul's evolution and growth. And so
Yep.
you not really knowing, even though you're like, okay, I was seeking answers outside of me, I think all of us need to start there because it's like that's what's going to lead you to the places and the people and the things that are going to help guide you to gain clarity and answers that help show you like how freaking powerful you are. You
Yep.
called that in exactly. And the Celestine prophecy talks about this. So for people who are like, I don't get it, like they want more info, it literally speaks about how if you just look up and use your eyes and you gain connection from that, it will guide you ever you need to go. If you make eye contact with someone twice, it's like there's a message for you. Lean in, say hi, connect. There's something there. And I don't know if you want to jump into, you can go through kind of COVID situation going to Bali, but also relationships where I just wanted to say, when we're so not used to making new connections, the second you make a new connection, even in terms of like, okay, you're kind of attracted to them, you can feel like, "Is this my person? Is it gonna be a thing?" Where it's like, no, you could need to connect for 3 days like you did with Connor, and then message once a year, and, like, that was what that relationship was meant to be. Not all connections and relationships are meant to be forever. Sometimes they're meant to teach you something, it's supposed to be an experience, but we hang on to try to make it something and we stay attached rather than, like, just trust it to unfold exactly as it's meant to, and you can never go wrong. Like, I saw this video today that's like, the things that aren't for you are gonna continue to disappoint you over and over and over, but the things that are for you will circle you until you're ready or you lean in. So it's like,
Yep.
for me, for example, right now, and I'm sure you have so many examples of this where I'm like, it's saying Peru, Peru, Peru. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Like I'm meant to book a trip. Little things like that where once you're listening, you notice there's like, and same thing you said Dominican Republic earlier. And I was like, no, I know there's something there for me this year. I'm going twice already, just randomly happened. 2 trips are booked there. And then you said it, and I'm like, I feel something. Not because there's an awareness there for me that like something's meant to happen there, whether it's a connection or transformation or a portal because I'm meant to touch the land there, whatever it is, I'm not trying to control the outcome. I just know that it's pulling me. And when you just
Yeah.
lean into that, it will pull you exactly where you're meant to go. The right people, experiences, all of it. So I love this, how it's unfolding. So we're only 2020, where this is like, is it crazy that it was 6 years ago? I feel like the last 5 years like didn't barely existed. I'm like, wait,
Oh,
what?
no, they did not, like,
Right? I'm like, uh-uh. This has been like 2 years, 3 years now maybe, but not 6. I'm like, "What?"
it's crazy, like, ooh,
Yeah.
and, yeah, time is speeding up because yeah, so after
Well, can we
that
talk about
event.
that? Wait, wait, wait. I wanna talk about that just before you jump into this,
Okay,
because 'cause I've been
okay.
hearing this theory too that we're like, minutes are not the same as they were 20 years ago. Hours are not the same. Like, they are
No,
going faster, and that's why we feel like there's so much less time to do maybe what we used to do or how we used to live in a day. Do you feel like that's true?
s 1,000,000,000%,
Yeah.
like 1,000,000,000%, because I am turning on my next birthday coming up, I'm turning 44. I do not feel like I'm 40, like, in my brain, I'm not 44 years
Yeah.
old. I'm like, "What the hell? How old are
Yeah.
you now? 23?"
Uh, who, me?
Yeah.
I'm 33.
Oh, you look so young. I thought you were like
Oh, do
20.
I? Maybe
I
because
thought
I
you were
have
like
pink on.
I thought you were like 26 at
No.
tops.
33. I have 2 babies. I got pregnant at 25, like, lived a whole life. Mhm.
Really? When's your birthday?
May 14th, Taurus.
Oh, yeah, I love a Taurus. Come
Mhm.
on.
We do go
Okay.
well together. One of my best friends, she's Pisces, and my other best friend is Taurus. So it's like,
Mhm. Y'all need that water sign to
yeah,
bring it in.
I love
But,
it.
yeah, so no, time is definitely speeding up. Time is a construct. So that's one of the things I talk about, and especially when I made that portal video,
Mhm.
what I am really trying to inspire my fractal to do, because that was, did you see the fractal video I made talking about fractals?
I think
Oh,
so.
we'll talk we'll talk about that, but
There's 3 things I want you to still touch on, okay?
uh-huh,
Luxury, because you talked about immersing yourself in luxury. I still want you to touch on
yes,
that. I want you
uh-huh,
to talk about you can still go into portals, 3D, 5D, what you're feeling, like, based on,
okay, mhm,
and what that looks like, and then we still need to talk about relationships. So
okay, okay, I got a North Star. So what I'll do is I'll tap in really quick. So after India, we what happened was the world started shutting down in 2020.
yeah,
And I had a choice to go home, back to America, stay in India, or I was like, "You know what? I'll go to Bali," because at the time I thought that the pandemic was gonna last like maybe a couple weeks. And I
yeah,
said, "I love Bali. That seems like a home away from home." So I went to Bali, literally got there on March 14th. The whole world shut down, everything shut down, and I lived in Bali for a year and 2 months. So I lived in Bali for 14 months. And the thing about Bali that I want to touch on is that that's where I tried every single modality. So that's how I know about breath work, cacao ceremonies. I did DMT through Bufo. I did
mhm.
mushrooms because mushrooms grow out of the water. Every time it rains, mushrooms are everywhere. So you have
Oh,
like by the cow dumps. So
yeah,
literally you have like a little Balinesian man go pick him up, and you give him like 5, $6, he washes them off, and you have fresh mushrooms every day. So I was micro dosing in my smoothie every single morning for like
love,
a year. And so I got so in touch with all these different parts of myself. But the number one modality that I absolutely fell in love with, and I tried everything, is
right,
human design.
yeah.
And so
What's
right
your sign?
now,
What
what's
are
my
you?
type?
Yeah,
I'm a 5-1 generator.
okay.
But
I'm
and
a
what about you?
projector.
A projector,
Projector.
of course,
Mhm,
I love
mhm.
projectors. And the thing about human design is the deeper you go, because human design isn't like It's not a religion, it's not a belief system. It's literally just a way to truly know who you are genetically because it's linked directly one to one to your genetic code.
Yes.
And I could talk about it forever, but we'll try to get to luxury portals and
Did you
relationships.
study gene keys because of this too?
Yeah,
Like
so
human
I
design
mean,
and gene keys?
yeah, gene keys go hand in hand. So I gotta
Yeah.
for every human design book I have gene keys, and gene keys are connected to the I Ching, which is what human design is based on as well. So these are like the different hexagrams. There are
Yes.
64 gene keys, and there are 64 genetic codons in our
Mhm.
DNA. So each one carries different information, and like I'm so obsessed with it. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But the one last thing I did want to say before we leave Bali, and you can always come back, is Bali really, really opened up my mind to just there is no these are just meat suits. Like these, what we're living in, these are literally just avatars for our soul. These are containers for our souls. And this is a spiritual experience because growing up in Detroit, going to a historically black college, and even working in the industry with a lot of predominantly African American celebrities, I didn't really have friends outside of black people. It wasn't until
Mhm.
I got trapped in Bali that my friends are from Korea, the Ukraine, England, Australia. I still talk to these people. Actually, I got a buddy from Vancouver, like
No way.
Chile, like literally
Everywhere.
every single place. And it showed me like race absolutely doesn't matter. It's really all I see in people now is frequencies. And
Mhm.
I think this is the perfect segue into how luxury is a frequency.
Okay, but I wanna say this first because you being African American and being mostly connected to, like, Black people when you were growing up, do you feel now, like, in America, there's such based on frequency, it's I feel it's created in order to keep people small. So, like, the whole concept of minority and race and racism, I'm like, when you start to expand and grow, you're like, "Wait, when you see people, that doesn't exist. You're not judging based on like, that doesn't match what your frequency is, like, you get to decide that internally, and so it's like, if you have all of these beliefs, which the news will feed you of, like, "You're a minority, you mean nothing, people are racist, blah, blah, blah," then it's like, then you believe that, and you act differently because of it, where now you're probably like, "Oh," like, what like, how did it shift? And I also am curious based on what you just said before, religion, like, these constructs of race, religion, on identity. Like, did you used to identify with the religion and now you realize, like, God is everywhere, God is everything? Like, I wanna know your thoughts.
Ooh, okay, okay. So I'll touch on
I know,
race first.
sorry.
No, I loved
Yeah,
it. Hey, I told you nothing's off the table.
I'm just
So
diverting you from luxury first. I'm like, these are important concepts that I feel like the more we talk about, they can die because it's like it's such a low frequency that it's not
yeah.
helping us become who we're meant to be. So, anyways, go ahead.
Oh, for sure. I love this. So race and religion are tomato, tomato. I can't even begin to talk about it. So I would say if we tackle race first, like even in America right now, it is Black History Month. And I'm waiting for my platform to get a lot bigger before I really touch on race and religion because I I want to get to the point where if they try to cancel me, I want because I'm not really going to talk about this. I mean, I'm going to talk about it now, but I really when I talk about it on my platform, I'm going to wait
Yeah.
till my platform is huge, because on one hand, I completely understand how minorities feel oppressed
Yes.
because the system, the matrix, was created to benefit the creators of the system.
Mhm.
And at the time, the creators of the system were white men. And they used religion, they used the Bible to control. The Bible is when I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, they did that. Like I gotta give them a round of applause. Like they conditioned
Mhm.
everybody
Massive,
so deeply
massive.
that
Yeah,
you kinda gotta be like you gotta give them their props because it was a master class in conditioning. And
yes.
the Bible, especially that King James version, has done a number on so many people that they are now the more that this world starts to crumble, because the
Mhm.
Bible is about to be finished. Like the
Yeah,
Bible religion is crumbling, and so what's happening is the system that it's created on is crumbling, and then
yeah,
the people that were holding on to the only heaven that they can have is in the afterlife. They are going through religious psychosis even deeper. So they are
right.
like grabbing on for dear life, and it's like getting scary for them because everything that they held on to in this afterlife, because this life that they live isn't filled with self-love, it isn't filled
Well,
with
the
right, it
end.
isn't
We're at the end because it's end times because it's like it's the end of the Bible. Yeah, but
yep,
it's not. Yeah.
it's the end of the Bible, but it's not the end of the
Yeah.
world. It's the end of the
Yes.
system, exactly, and we switched from the age of Pisces, and now we're in the age of Aquarius.
Yes.
And the age of Pisces was built on that. Like the age of Pisces was built on the Industrial Revolution, the religions, the dogma, all these things kept us is what the foundation of the matrix was built on.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it needed that. It needed race and class and money. Right now, money is not in America, in the United States of America, money isn't even backed by anything but, like, hopes,
Nothing.
thoughts, and prayers, like, it's
Literally.
literally it's literally it's literally based off of vibes, like,
No,
let's
it's
see.
crazy. Putting the sea backed by gold, like something of substance, and now it's literally nothing.
Yep, as of 1971 with Nixon, it stopped being backed by gold, and it's just backed by thoughts and trust. So I have my thoughts on money as well. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of but I wanna get to race really quick
Okay.
because I can say that, I was having a deep conversation when I lived in Bali, and I remember for the first time, I was like, "I have never felt oppressed." Like,
Mhm.
I did not feel this sense of oppression, and at the time, there was a lot of, Black Lives Matter around that 2020, 2021. Black
Right.
Lives Matter was huge, and I'm like, "You guys are for marching to matter, but you're believing in the system, and you're believing in this imaginary oppression." Meanwhile, I'm in Bali sipping on coconuts with people from all over the world and watching this. So it was so dystopian.
Right.
It was the biggest mind fuck of my whole life. I was like, and that was the moment that I had to understand. I said, all of these parts of the matrix are a construct. And what is so important though, Carly, and this is why I started using my voice again, because I didn't talk
Mm,
for, like, 6 years, like, 5 years.
right.
It is important that I am Black and gay. It is
Mhm.
very important that I am Black and gay and talking to everybody because my exterior is going to help break all of these things. Just my existence
You
and
know what's
talking about
crazy?
spirituality and talking
Like,
about near experiences and talking about all these things is important. So it's almost like, "Oh, I have to look like this
yes,
to
you
break
had to look like this.
down."
Mm, it's so crazy that you're saying that because I remember in my one of my mushroom journeys, I remember saying, I'm like, "I don't get it though. Why am I white? I don't understand. Why did you make me white?" They said, "You had to be white or they wouldn't listen."
Yep.
And because all of my past lives, ancestry, people I feel connected to, growing up, I never had white friends. Like, all my friends were of different races. All my friends are always like, "You're so not a white girl." And I'm like, yeah, I'm really not. Like, they're always like, "You're spicy, you're cultured, And I'm like, because I think this is my first time in it as a white avatar, to be quite honest. Like, I came
Mhm.
from whenever I connect to my ancestors in a journey, they have really long braids, and they're more like indigenous culture, and I'm like, but they said I had to be, and it's the same reason you have to be Black and gay, like, you need a representation of everything because it's the only way people are there's only gonna be certain people who listen to the white person, or
Yep.
listen to the Black person, or listen to the gay person, like, you need all of it, and I think that's where it's so interesting. I saw this video back probably close to 2022 where it said, like, the souls that are here for this time and to help create, because it is, like, you talking about this is gonna create a level of safety when people believe it's end times, like, no, it's not. It's end times of current systems, not of life itself. And we're gonna be it's so funny because Instagram, how beautiful, people can hate it, but I'm like, "Thank God you started
Mhm.
using your voice. It's connecting
Yep.
us, and it's gonna connect other people who
Yep.
connect other people." And then you create this web of connection that's gonna allow it's gonna be different levels of, I guess, leadership, you could say. Like how people have thought of government officials as leaders. I'm like, "They're not leaders. They're power
Mhm.
people. They're not leaders." And it's gonna be so beautiful because it's like we need representations of everybody.
Yep.
And even me, like, back in 2020, I was starting to get conditioned too about even gay, like how it's on the thing and it's like, "Oh, it's a mental illness. It's this, it's that." And as I've gone on this journey, I'm like, I understand now the phrase, like, "Love is love." I'm like, "No, people feel love with different people. That's it." And even me, I remember, like, that was even getting into my mind where I was like, "Is it? Is it wrong? Like, is it something that's um like a malfunction of the system because it's only supposed to be men and women?" Like, I remember thinking all of those things, where now I'm like, "No, I don't know, it's crazy."
No, I
It's
think
just
you're
we
bringing
have
up
to
so
be it.
many important parts because even from when I was, 6 years old, I knew I was gay. I've always known I was gay. I've always, been attracted to men, but I tried to live a straight life until I decided to come out in my 20s. And I remember clearly, um, having feeling for guys and knowing that in the Bible it was wrong.
Right.
And I remember the first experience I had with another boy, I was like 12 or 13, and, we did a little dry
Yes.
humping and all that stuff like
Yeah, yeah.
that. And literally the next few months, I developed cystic acne, like, my whole
Wow.
face for pretty much all of my teens, like, until I got to college, I had to get on Accutane because my skin was so bad, and I was like, "This is a punishment for me being gay. This is a
Mm.
punishment for me touching another boy. God is punishing me for being gay, and he gave
Shame,
me this acne."
frequency.
So, I thought exactly. So, for I my whole adolescence, I thought I was the ugliest person in the world, both inside and out,
Mm.
and it was because of religion, it was because of society, and it was my own I feel like it was my own doing. Now, one thing that, um, an astrologer shared with me, she was telling me that that was you purging. You had to purge that old identity out at that young age. You were purging. And so a lot of times when you're purging the religion and you're purging those things, it comes out in your skin on the epidermis. And I was like, oh, I never looked at it like that. Literally, I just got told this like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, it helped me to reframe that era of my life. But it took me 43 years to heal that inner child, and that's the only reason I was able to come back out and start talking about this stuff online as of
Wow.
recently, because it took me all of this time to finally go back in time and talk to him and fully deconstruct from the religion that had me so, conditioned and so oppressed and so much self-hatred, and that is the illusion that religion creates. That's the illusion that racism and the idea of race and separation creates, that it gets us to hate ourselves, and we don't ever get into the frequency of self-love because society tells us to hate all these different parts of us that don't fit into the prescribed dimensions of what we're supposed to be.
You know what that has me thinking about is because, of course, now I feel like more than ever, maybe there was always lots of people who were gay, but I feel like more people identify as it now than before. And it makes me wonder too if like more souls are coming here on purpose to show another deconstruction of the Bible of like this piece too. No, like it's not true. Um, yeah, it just makes me wonder.
It definitely, like, a lot of this is happening, so this
But we
is
all
a
know all the ancients, like all the guys were fucking guys. Like we know that. Like that's been a thing. Like I'm like that's
down.
not new. Like that was always happening. So I'm like, for anyone that said it was wrong, I'm like, okay, but then if it is, I always just go, then why is there a G spot? Like, I'm like,
Mhm.
God doesn't
There
create anything. I don't know. I'm always like, it wouldn't exist if there wasn't a purpose. So anyway,
no, no, you're exactly right. No, homosexuality is as natural as breathing. Like, there are so many people that engage in sexual acts with the same sex, and that is older than anything that we know.
yeah,
And that's old. Homosexuality is older than religion. Like,
yeah.
everything is older than religion, and we have to continue to decondition ourselves.
I hope you guys enjoyed part one. That was just so much about his story, and I cannot wait, you guys, for you to hear part two. Like, it is the most incredible, just pieces of wisdom. And I feel like you guys are going to connect and relate to it so much. So join me next week for episode 2 and part 2 of this series because literally magic. Magic was spoken. It was like downloads to my soul. I can't wait for you guys to be a part of that.